What is up, rivals? Welcome back to yet another episode of Rival Kingdoms. My name is Sawcasm, and today we're going to take a look at these bad boys right here. They look kind of cool, but kind of ugly because they have this brown crap around them. I think it's literally crap, but don't tell anyone I said that. But yeah, I have no clue what that is. But anyway, don't forget to leave a like, rating, and subscribe if you're new for some more Rival Kingdoms. And with that said, let's get into the video. So basically, these are spell towers, which is a type of defense in Rival Kingdoms. I'm sure a lot of you guys knew that already, but it is kind of different from a lot of other games of the genre, the way they work. So basically, they are a type of defense, just like any other defense, that have a certain range. They shoot certain things and they damage certain enemies. So, but the difference is you can actually change them based on the ancient that you want to assign them to. So if you level up your ancients, you can actually pick one that you think suits the role. Now, each type of ancient actually has a different spell for spell towers. For ice ancients, they deal a certain amount of damage in a small area and freeze all units for 2 seconds. Now, the damage is pretty negligible, but a 2-second freeze is pretty huge, especially at early stage in the game. So even though it's not going to do that much damage, it still freezes for 2 seconds. So that's absolutely beastly. So yeah, this thing is absolutely crazy. The fire spell tower spell is called Flame Ball. It deals a certain amount of damage in an area, and then affected units are burned for a certain amount of damage over 3 seconds. So I say a certain amount of damage because all these numbers do scale up a level. So it's not like the number it is now is the number that's going to be forever. It's not going to do 29 to 33 damage forever. They all scale up with levels. So yeah, just pretty much raw damage with an AoE of damage after that. You have Nature Ancients, which is cool to say, Nature Ancients. They have Crippling Poison, which affected units suffer a certain amount of damage over 7 seconds while attacking, and movement speeds are cut by 25%. So not only do they do some damage, they also do a little bit of crowd control in the form of a slow. And finally, the infamous Death Ancient. They deal a certain amount of damage in an area, and affected units take 50% increased damage and cannot be healed for 10 seconds. So this thing right here, the Death Ancients, I don't know about you guys, I see people use Death Ancients and spell towers all the time. You could have as many as you want in the spell tower. So just because you have one type of ancient in one spell tower doesn't mean you can't have the same type in another spell tower. For example, we already have a Death spell tower selected, and we can't use the same exact ancient, but we could use the same element for different ancients. So that's what we're gonna do. And you see now we have 2 death spell towers. Can we go for 3? Can we go for 3? The answer is yes. I can already tell you that, but I'm just saying we're gonna do it for the video. So we could even have as many as you want. As long as you have the right number of ancients, you can have that many of that type of spell towers. Now the thing is, they don't always overlap their skills. So for example, affected units take 50% increased damage. It's not gonna do 50% plus an additional 50% increased damage if both of these death spell towers hit an enemy unit. It's only gonna use the effect of one of them. So with that said, you can use multiple in conjunction, and it's not always bad, especially since the Death Ancients spell towers are so strong. I'll get into that in a second, but it's not a bad thing because most of the time they're not going to be grouped up anyway. Now there are some strongholds where I do have them grouped up kind of together, especially early on, but later on you could definitely spread them out, do some wonky things with them. Pretty cool. Now as far as Death Ancients, they are, in my opinion, the most overpowered spell tower right now. Absolutely ridiculous, because the best way to win an offense, in my opinion, is do a ton of damage, of course, but have a squad of paladins to heal up pretty much any damage that you can take. And with that said, when you do that and the paladin AI doesn't go crazy, usually against a pretty close defense, you can usually do pretty well. So paladins, just healing up in this game right now is absolutely huge for offense. It's just so strong. But to counter that, the spell towers actually make it less strong than it already is. So not that I think this is a bad thing, but of course balance is good. But these spell towers are so good right now. Not only does it reduce the healing for 10 seconds, it also gives the enemies 50% increased damage taken. So if you get hit by this for 10 seconds, you're going to take 50% more damage from a catapult next to it, from an archer tower next to it, anything. All this stuff does a ridiculous amount of damage. Now you can also try out some cool combinations. So we could have, obviously we're not going to have a base of just 3 spell towers, but we could have the Death Ancient so they can't heal, and on top of that we could have the Ice Ancient so that we could freeze them. They get hit by the spell tower here, they get hit by a spell tower here, they're frozen for 2 seconds. In the meanwhile, this spell tower can charge up again, hit them again, and etc. So there are combinations that are pretty cool, and you can use them in conjunction with each other. Now, of course, sometimes you want to split them up, but with that said, they do have a pretty short range, and their cast speed actually does increase with levels. So I do recommend you level them up, especially if you are focusing on defense, because they are pretty good units to focus on as far as defense. I just haven't been so focused on the defense. I'm upgrading my true portals right now so I can do more attacking tackies and shoot more people in the face. So yeah, the Death Ancients right now super strong. I recommend you run at least one of them, if not two, if not three. But I think one or two of them is definitely pretty satisfactory. And yeah, so just kind of overview of the spell towers and show you guys what's up. Because some people think that every ancient gives a different spell tower spell. That's quite not the case. I wanted to debunk that myth. But yeah, so with that said, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please leave a like. I truly appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new. And with that said, thanks for watching. Peace.